Again, my name is Shane Kipper. I'm your host. Today, we're talking about the 5 things that you can do today to increase conversions on every part of your marketing system. Okay. Before we get started, I have a 90-minute training that you can get access to. It's completely free. If you go to callwithshane.com, it's going to go into greater detail on identifying your perfect prospect so that you can really start developing a message that's compelling. So that way, when you're creating content, whether it's for sales videos, whether it's for just content on the internet, you can actually start to provide value and show people that you can actually help them and that you will help them if they work with you. That's the name of the game here. And that's really one of the first points. And this isn't one of the 5 that I want to go over, but the first point that I want to make that makes all of this work, no matter what. I mean, you can't really do your marketing without this, is value. Okay, value-based marketing, VBM, if you want to write that down. Value-based marketing, you have to provide value. You can't, just start selling people shit. You know what I mean? It's like if you were to go to the car dealership and the salesman comes up to you and he's like, here's this car, you should buy it. You're like, I don't even know what I want. I haven't seen the cars. My wife has to choose for me, like all these things. So you have to overcome those things. And in order to overcome those things, you have to develop a relationship. You have to prove to them that there's value, that you're not just another car salesman or an internet marketer or this and that. You have to actually show them that, hey, I can help you. I'm here to actually help you. And because I am willing to go through the effort of helping you, I know that reward will be given back. You have to give in order to get. There's no other formula around it. Okay, so that's everything that we talk about in the sales funnel discussion group and with my brand. So first off, the first thing that we're going to talk about is increasing leads and driving traffic. So number 1 is creating value. So number 1 is going to be increasing the leads, and well, first is traffic and then leads. Okay, so the first thing that we want to focus on is increasing traffic and leads. Okay, so what are some ways that we can increase traffic and leads? You can ask for referrals. Right? We can run advertisements. Okay, and all of this stuff needs to be tracked as well. Like, I just got back from the Tony Robbins Business Mastery seminar, and what they focused a lot on was knowing your numbers. You need to know, how many, what's your referral percentage. And if you have a high percentage there or a low percentage, maybe it's time to put more money in that area. How can we improve our referrals? Or if it's advertisements, if those numbers aren't good enough, and if you can track every piece of that puzzle, and you have optics is what they called it, you can actually see what parts of your business need attention. So ask for referrals, run advertisements, post organic, follow up with your current list, right? Because I know a lot of us aren't following up with our list. We generate traffic, we create content, and it's like this another thing to do. But don't ever forget, the money is made in the follow-up, right? So follow-up list, how else can we create traffic and leads? This stuff is actually not that hard. So let's move on to more of the lead aspect of traffic and leads, because when it comes to the leads, in order for us to get leads, we have to have an offer, right? So that means in order for us to get traffic and leads, we need a good offer. Let me put good in there because that's the key. And in order to have a good offer, we need, oh my gosh, this app isn't the best. In order to have a good offer, we need to know who we are targeting, right? It's It seems simple, but it's the most important thing you could do for your business is know who you're targeting. If you don't know exactly who you're after, you're going to spend your wheels in marketing and waste a lot of marketing dollars and really not get to where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? So let me make sure I can, yeah, there we go. That's better to read. Okay, so a good offer, we need to know who we're targeting. We also, because, and once we know who we're targeting, what do they want already? Okay, I want to add those two words in there because they, meaning not you, and then already, meaning not something that they don't need. You need to know who they are and what they already want. You don't want to take their attention away from what they already want and try to bring their attention onto something that you think they need. So you really have to do your research. So I'll even add to this. So this really should be at the top. Do your research. Okay, so do your research. Who are we targeting? Who is it exactly? And what do they already want? Okay, and what do they already want? So in regards to that, how do they want it, right? How do they want to receive it? What, how in what form or mechanism or way is it going to be easy for them to comprehend, consume, and take action on? Okay, so now that we got a good offer, we can move on to having the leads. So this is where we can start split testing. Okay, we can start split testing these good offers, and offers are your freebies. I mean, they don't have to be free. You can actually charge depending on what it is that you're doing as your front end. So now we can move on to number two, which is effectively advancing your process, or increasing, sorry. So how do we increase the effectiveness of your process, right? So number one is going to be knowing the numbers. So how are you tracking? What analytics are you looking at? We want to look at, and I'll even create a new one over here for this. The numbers we want to look for are the unique. I like to look at the unique traffic. The traffic overall is good because you're getting repeat people coming back. But unless you can track which people those people are, I like to look at the unique traffic because that's new people. Okay, we want to look at the unique. We want to look at opt-ins. So based on your overall traffic, this is what it's going to be based on. So based on your overall traffic, how many people are opting in for your lead magnet? How many people purchase? How many people do the upsells and downsells? Right. We also, even before that, we want to look at your impressions. How many people is it getting in front of before we get, depending on what kind of advertisement you're running, whether that's a conversion ad or a video view or engagement or whatever, your statistics that you're measuring are going to be a little bit different, but you can track things like video views, right? So, you know, if we see that people are watching 25, 45, you know, or 50, 75, 100% of the video, we can gain a lot of information from that. Then we can track clicks, you know, conversions. The conversions are going to be your registrations. They're going to be your opt-ins. They're going to be, you know, if they took an offer. There's a lot of different types of conversions, so you just need to know which conversions you're tracking. So then we got unique traffic, opt-ins, purchases, upsells, downsells, right? And then we want to start tracking emails, open rate, click-through rate, right? We want to track sequences as a whole. right? Because sometimes we'll send out campaigns and we can track those campaigns individually. But when we put a sequence out and we have an automation going, we want to pay attention to the traffic that's coming in. Okay, so something that I like to also point out here, is don't make changes until you had 1,000 visitors. Okay, so don't make any changes until you've had over 1,000 visitors, because you don't have enough data on 100 people. If 100 people come in and you have 10 people buy, yeah, that's 10, or buy or opt in, yeah, that's 10%. But it's not enough information for us to determine, okay, 90 people didn't like it, but if we could see that maybe after 1,000 our actual conversion was 20%, then we know that it's not so much. Then we can start determining what pieces of those elements aren't actually working. So then we can start changing whole sales pages, landing pages, and so forth. Okay, so these are your things to track. It's going to be a little hard to read. And in order to get this, you can go to the sales funnel discussion group. It's totally free. And I'll put this over here. Okay, so you need to know the numbers. So how else do we increase the effectiveness of our process? Testing, right? A/B. How do we A/B test? We can create split testing. You can take your sales pages. You can even take your emails. You can do your sales copy on your advertisements. You can run A/B tests for your ads. So what are you testing? Are you testing headlines? I'll write this stuff down for you too. What are we testing? We're testing headlines. We're testing subheadlines. So a subheadline is the headline underneath the headline that actually provides value to the actual headline itself. It gives more value to the headline. So it's like, how to increase your conversions by 10%. And then the subheadline might be without spending a bunch of money on advertisements. You'd have to really understand the concepts of headlines, but the subheadline adds to the headline. These are things you want to track. Checking color, right? And don't get too carried away with color. Simple is best. The simpler you can be with it, the better your results will be, because a lot of times people want to be over dramatic. They want to have this really beautiful sales page that just screams like, look at me, you know what I'm saying? But what people really want is, who are you? What do you do? How can you help me? And how can I get it? It's as simple as that. So if we can stay to a framework like that and just be straight to the point with these people, we can have better conversions. And this is what we want to test. We want to test colors of like buttons and stuff like that. We don't want to be testing too much of like backgrounds and shit like that. Like, keep a white sales funnel with the value on the page, and don't get too sexy with it. But you can add your own flair, but just don't go over the top. Okay, what else do we want to test? We want to test sales copy. So sometimes you're going to have a sales page with long form sales copy. You can test whether long form performs better or short form performs better. I have a webinar opt-in page that is converting at like 40 to 50% registration whenever somebody lands on the page. So the thing that changed was going simple. I've had multiple clients that I've built webinar registration forms, opt-in forms, whatever for, and back then that's what I used to do, is I create these sexy funnels. I'd be like, yes, this is so cool. I wanted to show my family and my friends, like, oh, look how cool it is. But the reality of it is I didn't know what was working on it. I didn't track the numbers, right? So then I had this shift. I met some people in my life. I got acquainted with the right people. and started learning from some people that really showed me that it's not about the design. So really focus on what the value is for that person, who they are, what they want, and how they get it on that sales page. So testing the sales copy. We can test, whether we're doing a freebie. We can test whether we're charging up front, maybe a couple dollars, let's say $7 for like a bundle, one of your, like a really good offer up front, so you can kind of vet that prospect to know if they're serious. Sometimes if in your industry, you need to know that that person's serious, so that way the leads that you're generating aren't just a bunch of just leads that you're wasting money on, and then also having a hard time getting in contact with. You might have a list of 1,000 people that you've never been in contact with, right? And that's because they aren't your perfect prospect. So know your perfect prospect, okay? And then we can try different lead magnets. So, man, I'm just going all out today. So what kind of lead magnets can we use? We can do PDFs, right? We can do downloads. We can do free trainings. We can do consultations. Depending on what business or service or industry you're in, you could offer a free consultation. That's a lead magnet. You would have to dress it up and make it sexy. Consultations aren't sexy. It's like, it almost sounds like, you're going to get a consultation from your doctor. So be wary of the way things sound and really try to make it sexy. It doesn't need to be, unicorn call for 30 minutes, like just make the offer really great, and the way and what you say as far as what it is doesn't really matter as long as the value's there. You can do consultations. You can do discounts, really. If you're a restaurant or something like that, or maybe a teeth whitening company, Brett, you can offer discounted, like a coupon or something like that gets them in the door, which this is where you need to really know your sales process, because once you get that coupon and somebody comes in the door, then what's the next step? You need to upsell them, right? Or that salesman, if it's your staff, needs to upsell them. Usually in a restaurant industry, if you get like maybe a free dinner, the upsell is the alcohol, because that's where the margins are. So you need to know your margins, but you also need to know your sales process and how you can upsell. Dessert at a restaurant is an upsell. They need to actually do more work on figuring out how to get people to eat dessert, because it's like, are you sure you want dessert? That's kind of how it comes off from the employees. And so nobody ever wants it. It's not sexy, right? And plus, you've freaking stuffed your face for an hour, so it makes sense, but there's a way to do it. Okay, so let's move on to number 3. Okay, so the next piece is increase sales conversions. Okay, so how do we do that? We can improve the offer. Okay, also is running surveys. This is a huge key, guys. If you're watching this right now, write this down. This might be one of the biggest takeaways from today's lesson is do a survey. Ask people what they want. Ask people what they didn't like, get your customer feedback, because they're gonna tell you the most about what they want, how they want it, and how they want to receive it. So run a survey, ask a few questions. How can I improve this offer? What are you struggling with? What can be added? What are you looking for? There's a lot of different questions that based on your industry you're going to ask. So run a survey campaign. You can improve offers. So in improving offers, this just means increasing your value. Okay. And you could even, in order to increase sales conversions, we can do testing, right? That's an obvious one, but we could even increase our price, because, and especially if you have a good enough offer, but when it comes to increasing our price, we are, and it's not the for sake of just increasing price because and not adding more value. It's just the actual value of this offer is actually this cost. So in order to increase our prices, we have to add more value. But this is something that you can test. You can increase your price, and in order to increase sales conversions, we do the follow-up. We need to make sure that we're bringing people back. We need to have our abandoned cart sequence, right? The abandoned cart sequence says, hey, I seen you see my offer. Why didn't you purchase? It's going away in this many days. Abandoned cart sequence. So, in order to increase sales conversions, we could do a video sales letter, right? And the video sales letter has a framework, and you want to kind of create a framework. If you don't already have one, you can also go to callwithshane.com and I can teach you all about this stuff. But the video sales letter is telling them who it's for, what it is, what it does, how they get it, right? It's basically a different version of the long form sales copy. So you got your video sales letter. So then number 4, okay. This right here, when I said increase your prices, it might actually go in here. Increase your transaction value. Okay, so like I said, we're going to increase our price. And you don't have to. If you don't see how you can increase your price, it might actually just be increasing the amount of times they can actually buy. So this means adding more offers, your upsells and your downsells. Obviously adding more value. That's what the premise of all of this is. If you don't add more value, you can't increase your price. You can't offer more offers, and you're going to have a hard time with your marketing. Okay, so increase the amount of times that they can buy, which is your upsells and downsells, adding more value. So how do you add more value? You can add in PDFs, workbooks, videos, tutorials, one-on-one consultations, masterminds. Just get creative. What is it going to be that is adding more value to your offer? Because in order to increase your price, you need more value. Okay, so it's like a repetitive thing right here, but add more value. But this is also your follow-up. So how are you bringing people back, right? Once somebody's already purchased, what can you offer that person? You might be leaving thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars on the table if you're not following up with the people who have already bought and giving them something else to buy. Buyers buy more than once, especially if you've developed a culture, if you've developed raving fans, if you have people that love your stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can say, look, I know you've been through this and I can see that you've enjoyed it. Get this thing too, because it's going to add even more value. So that could be, let's say, for example, in the industry of cars, for follow-up. The car dealership is following up every so often to get somebody to repurchase. It's that cycle every 3 to 5 years, people buy new cars. So these car dealerships know that, and they're following up with you. So know the life cycle of your product and your service, and create new sexy ways for them to consume it and gain value from what you're doing. And then, follow up with them. Have a process, you can use things like Active Campaign or different timers, even if you're trying to just do it manually, which I really don't suggest. But have a system that says, hey, these people are about at the end of their life cycle of this product. How can we help them more? Send out this campaign, get them to buy so that we can provide them more value and keep them in that culture. That's one of the biggest things that Tony Robbins and the speakers were talking about, was raving cultures. How do you develop a raving culture? So I can talk a little bit more about that on another video. I don't have time for that today, but we'll just go through a quick recap. So in order, at the top of it all, you need to have good content. Good content is not flashy design content. Good content is valuable content. It's demonstrative. It's It's helping. It's showing people that you can actually help them. Number one, you have to have a good offer. So in order to have a good offer, you need to do your research. You need to know who it is exactly that you're targeting. You need to know exactly what it is that they want already. What do they want right now? It's not what you think they want, it's what they actually want. So pay attention. How do they want it? How do they want to receive it? Is that going to be an audio? Is it going to be a book? Is that going to be a training? Is that going to be a consultation? Is it in person? Is it a test drive? Is it a freaking free sandwich? You know what I'm saying? Um, traffic and leads. Ask for referrals. Run advertisement. Post organic. Follow up with list. Okay, increase your effectiveness of your process by knowing your numbers, testing, doing lead magnets. Okay, don't change anything until you've had at least 1,000 visitors. You want to track your impressions, video clicks, video views, clicks, conversions, unique traffic, opt-ins, purchase, upsells, downsells, email, open rate, click-through rate, subheadlines, headlines, color, sales copy. Okay. Increase sales conversions. You can improve your offer. You can add to it. You can run surveys. You can increase your price. You can follow up. You can create an abandoned cart sequence. You can do a video sales letter to increase your sales conversions. Okay. You can even add a step for, depending on what your process is. If you're a high ticket and you need them on the phone, you can get somebody on the phone with them to answer their questions before they get to the closer. Increase your transaction value, increase your price, increase the amount of times that they can actually buy. Add value and follow up. So always bring people back and know the life cycle of your product so that you can follow up with them and add more value to their lives. So I hope that was amazing. Hope that was transformative for you and your business. If it was, make sure to like and subscribe to my page. Go to the Sales Funnel discussion group for more free content every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Also, you can go to callwithshane.com for a free 90-minute training that's going to teach you exactly how to identify your perfect prospect, do your competitor research, so you can start to develop a message that's compelling that sells your offer on automation. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I will see you next week. Let me know your thoughts. Love y'all. Peace.